We need a 5mm slot in the pivot tube, and in the pivot plate we need a 5mm slot as well, and two 4mm holes. The pivot plate also need a 5mm slot, and as I mentioned earlier, two 4mm holes. I changed to the Acera milling machine just because I'm lazy. The indexing round table was already mounted on the Acera, so it was easier to put the plate in that one. Okay, now the slot is done. And now we are ready for the holes. The Morse taper will be secured to the pivot tube with the tapped M5 hole. And to do that we need to grind off a part of the Morse sleeve. And this one is case hardened, so we can't just drill. And they suggest that you should grind it in the bench grinder and then mill it down 1/32 of an inch, and that's around 0.8 millimeters. But I think I will grind it down on the tool grinder instead. It's only one setup. Why first grind it and then mill it? Okay, it looks like we have all the parts to put this floating reamer holder together. Let's start with the dowels in the arbor ring. And one smack. Some Loctite. Then it's the same thing with the pivot plate. Two double pins. And give them a punch with the... oh no, it should be the other way. So. And then some Loctite on this little piece. This little spring should be located in the center of that hole. Then we need this little ball on top of it, and this plate, the pivot plate, on top of that, and we have to compress it. These pins is going to grab the grooves. On top of that we have the pivot tube, something like that. Now the trick is how to put it together without the ball jumping away. So we just put it on the tube like that. So, and then we have to place this in the housing without moving the ball. And we move the ball, of course. Förbannat. And the sleeve can move. Interesting. So now it's tight, and we should lose the arbor half a turn. Hopefully. Yeah. So now it's moving freely. Ah, that's nice. And we need this little thing to get it out from the tailstock. And the Morse adapter. Well, looks like we have a complete tool. Let's try it. Okay, I prepared 2 pieces of scrap steel and pre-drilled them to 15 millimeter. We ream one piece with a floating reamer holder and the other one we ream without the floating reamer holder, and then we see if there is any difference. And we do the first reaming without the floating reamer holder. Mark this one with red. And this time with a floating reamer holder. It's obviously a lot of floating in it. Okay, now let's see what result we get in this reaming experiment. The red one is down without the reamer holder, and that one should be quite bad. 19 millimeter and 1.5 hundred above. That's quite good. Now we'll see what the result will be with the floating reamer holder then. Surprise! 5.5 hundredths above. Well, on the other side it's 5.5 hundredths above there as well. I have to check this tool and see if there is some problem with it.